Well, Max, so Cheltenham Day, one emotional win for Henry de Bromhead. I think that will loom large in the memory. A fairy tale send-off for Honeysuckle, festival win number 4 for her. And then in terms of sheer sporting excellence, Constitution Hill more than lived up to the hype and the record-breaking odds. Unbackable favourite in the champion hurdle. Absolutely powered home. In Prestbury Cup terms, Ireland 5, England 2 is where we are at the moment. Ominous start for English horses even in the first race. The first 8 horses home, all from Ireland, which was the depth of quality in that race in particular. Happy to say John Duggan joins us from Cheltenham. Evening, John.
Evening, Joe. How are you?
Look at you. Last man in the press box.
Got to do it, Joe. I've even got the Peaky Blinders cap, but I'm not going to show you that. I'm holding that for tomorrow for the lads in the AM shows. So, because I promised them I'd wear a cap.
Well, listen, I'll set my alarm to see that. So let's start with Honeysuckle in the Mare's Hurdle. This brings the curtain down on an extraordinary career. Went off 9-4 joint favourite. Rachel Blackmore very much on board. Their 2 careers forever linked. And positioned in second throughout, John, tracked the front runner until the last.
Love Envoi was the front runner who won at the festival last year, and Rachel's always been very good at getting Honeysuckle into a really good position in a race, generally second or third or fourth, and using her mares jumping. And coming down the hill, Queensbrook was going well on the outside, Love Envoi was going well, and Honeysuckle had just a push, but she's always had that little bit of an acceleration, a bit of a kick in her armoury to go around the bend and then pick up again. But over 2.5 miles, remember Honeysuckle had been winning over 2 miles in the champion hurdle races the last couple of years, but she was switched to this race because of the might of Constitution Hill. And they wanted to go out with a win, and they did. And the resolution that Honeysuckle showed up that hill for the 4th time to win was something else. And Rachel Blackmore was just exhausted. She was emotional, understandably so. The Honeysuckle story in itself is a great story because, as you say, they've been completely in simpatico, the pair of them. And they caught the imagination of the country and the racing public as well. But then, obviously, it's hard to put into words. I don't think my words are certainly not big enough to kind of convey what the feeling was, really. I was standing in the winner's enclosure, just beside it, and everybody was cheering that rally from Honeysuckle up the hill to beat Love Envoi and win the Mare's Hurdle. For Henry de Bromhead, because last September he tragically lost his son, Jack, in a pony riding accident in Kerry, and Henry spoke afterwards to the crowd and just thanked everybody for their well wishes and for the support and the love that he's received. And the love was really there today, Joe, and he spoke to myself afterwards. And look, it is a fairy tale story from a racing point of view, but more importantly, it was a great story to kind of for us all to be able to cheer Henry on and show him the love that we all feel from him. You know?
Well, let's pause in here from the 2 protagonists. So it's the thing of cliche on the television when winning jockey and horse enters the enclosure and they say, well, what an ovation. But in this instance, it was a genuinely heightened ovation. That very much came through on television. So we'll hear from Rachel Blackmore first of all. And you managed to get a microphone in there amongst the masses and ask her how special.
Look, it was just an unbelievable day. It's been an unbelievable journey with her. She's been incredible. Henry's done a sensational job with her, and to get to finish like that, walk back in Cheltenham, so special.
When you think about it, 4 runs at Cheltenham, 4 wins.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But testament to Henry and the way he's trained her, to be honest. To bring her back here every year and have her the way he has her, it's just unbelievable. Davy Roach is head lad as well, head lad and assistant trainer. He plays a massive role down in Knockeen, and Coleman, who looks after her and rides her out, and it's a massive team effort.
What was your feelings going into the race? Were you confident?
Yeah, look, I was. I have to be confident in her. It'd be very weird if I wasn't. So, yeah, look, it was brilliant. She got the job done.
So that's Rachel Blackmore, and then Henry de Bromhead speaking as well to John.
Henry de Bromhead, I think when Rachel crossed the line, her emotions summed up all our emotions, and yours, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an incredible moment. You know, we were dreaming of a fairy tale ending. It sadly, you know, that doesn't always happen, or it doesn't happen too often, but it was incredible. Just the ride she gave her, the way the mare knuckled down after the last Love Envoi really put it up to her. But it's incredible. And then to see the reception she got and we got, you know, everyone's just showing their support to us with after what's happened to us with, you know, losing Jack and everything. It's, you know, anytime we have a winner at any of these meetings, the support we get is incredible. And look, not that you can depend on it, but it's lovely when it makes things a little bit easier when it does happen.
It makes it maybe 1% easier, maybe.
Yeah. 0.001, you know, but like, yeah, you know, it's someone said every time there's been 2 races run in Jack's name, and we didn't win them, but we won races on the same day, and after we won each race, this big rainbows appeared, and I haven't seen it, but someone said they sent me a photo. There was a small little rainbow just behind Rachel after she pulled up, so we know he's always with us. And yeah, it's really tough, but like I say, as we said, these days can make, you know, they help a tiny bit.
She's come here 4 times and won 4 times. She's got so much guts, that horse.
Oh my God, she's just an incredible mare. Like, we were so blessed to have anything to do with her, and yeah, privileged. Like, she's just a different league. Yeah, you know, she's so tough, so consistent, and yeah, 2 mares hurdles, 2 champion hurdles. It's unbelievable.
And just to finish, Rachel, Honeysuckle, I think they've caught the public's imagination, the pair of them.
Oh, very much so. And how couldn't they? 2 really tough, tenacious, amazing ladies. You know, both so classy. You know, couldn't say enough about both of them.
Well, on behalf of Off the Ball News Talk and all our listeners, well done. We really are so thrilled for you today.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thank you for all the support we've got. It's incredible.
Henry de Bromhead there, I mean, I don't know how he's able to, you know, keep his composure and talk of Jack, and you could hear the emotion threatening to come through there, and yeah, 0.001%, I'd say if even.
Yes, I don't know if I can really add anything to what he said. I think what he said speaks for itself, and if you're not crying outside, Joe, you're crying inside.
Yeah, no, it's desperately sad, and you wish them well, and today was an amazing day for the legacy, I suppose, of Honeysuckle. Is that 17 of 19 races? The 2 most recent losses, John, to what extent had they nibbled away at people's confidence that Honeysuckle was at this level still?
A little bit, but not as much as it should have. So I think the result confirms that Honeysuckle ran well in those 2 races that she lost, just because she'd won everything, and then she turns up at Ferry House in December, and she's on soft ground, and on her first run of the season, she gets beaten in a 2.5 mile race, not possibly on the ground that she would have wanted. Even though it was soft ground today, I still think it was a better position for her to be in. And then she was second to State Man, who was second in the champion hurdle on her next run at Leopardstown. They had a right today, but when you're thinking about it, it is a mare's only race. So she's not running against the males. So therefore, when you think about it, if she's beaten the males to win 2 champion hurdles, if she's retaining some of her old ability in a mare's only race, she should be able to win that. And that's what happened today, you know.
Let's talk champion hurdle. I mean, I was struck in the build-up as one of those people who tend to tune in predominantly to horse racing during Cheltenham. Constitution Hill was being talked about as borderline unbeatable, record-breaking odds. I think 11-4 on. Nicky Henderson trained. I mean, at times we see these unbackable favourites come to grief somehow. Yeah. Wow, this was a performance.
This is airplane stuff. And there's a weird stat in that 1971 was the last time, Joe, that a horse won the Supreme Novices, the novices race, the year before, and they went on to win the champion hurdle. Hadn't been done in 52 years. And maybe there's something in that in terms of the suitability of a horse to do it back to back, year to year. And that Constitution Hill could do it so easily in the champion hurdle, win it by 9 lengths. It was all about State Man, the Willie Mullins horse, put it up to him. And really, Constitution Hill left State Man in the dust. There was a kind of a scary moment for Constitution Hill supporters at the very last hurdle, and that he took off too soon. He took off like a chaser, and he nearly clipped the back of the hurdle, but he didn't. And then he came through. Like Nico de Boinville, his jockey, didn't even have to take the whip out, Joe, on this horse, who I really hope now goes for the Gold Cup route, because it's only ever been done once in the history of jumps racing that a horse has won the champion hurdle and the Gold Cup, and that was Dawn Run, the Irish mare, back in 1986. And I just look at Constitution Hill, I think he's a chaser in the making, and I really do hope they're brave enough now to go over fences and go for the Gold Cup in time, because I think that's he's so good that. And the interesting story about him is that Barry Geraghty bought him as a 6-month-old foal and spotted something in him, and then has got a great relationship. He used to ride for Nicky Henderson, the trainer, knows Michael Buckley, the owner, and ended up with Nicky Henderson with Michael Buckley. But Barry Geraghty's had a huge role to play in the progression of Constitution Hill into this champion hurdle winning horse today.
The day started with the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Much of the build-up was focused on Facile Vega. To what extent was the recent poor performance indicative of something awry? And Ruby Walsh, amongst others, said I wouldn't worry too much about that. In the end, Facile Vega jumped the last poorly and was pipped by Marine Nationale. And the interview with the jockey, Michael O'Sullivan, caught the eye afterwards. Young Irishman, just out of college, and he was very emotional. He was thanking his parents and his grandparents, and you thought, oh, wow, really, great day for him. But the panel on ITV were effusive about how good he was. The trainer/owner, also Irish, effusive about how good he was, and then he backed it up on 18-1 Jazzy Matty. So talk to us about Michael O'Sullivan.
23 years of age, from Cork. As you say, he's got the I suppose the racing background. His dad, William, rode a winner of the Fox Hunters here at Cheltenham in 1991. So 32 years ago, his dad rode a winner at Cheltenham for his uncle. And his cousin, Maxine, won a race here a few years ago on another horse in the Fox Hunters called It Came to Pass. So they're a family from Cork. He's done animal science, did his degree, didn't like a lot of jockeys. And I'm not saying in any way that this is in any way comparably negative. A lot of might be jockeys just have the bug. They want to get out of school at 16 and they want to just do it. Like Tony McCoy, Ruby Walsh, they were, in their teenage years being champions. This guy decided, I'm going to go to college, get my degree. He got a good leaving cert, he told me after the race, and did his thing. And now is deciding to, okay, I'm going to go into this sphere now as a jockey. And he rode Marine Nationale. He hadn't ridden horse since December in the race. Horse never been beaten. Really, really good speed on this horse, and as you say, I think the ice cold nature of the ride was something that marks. Sometimes you arrive in sport, and this guy arrived today as a new kid on the block with 2 winners. The other race, he once again he was headed and he came back up the hill to win. So he is a new kid on the block, and he with all sports stars, sometimes they arrive, and who knows what his future will be. But if we look back at this guy in a few years' time and go, this is a really top guy in the weigh room. This was a day when he landed. Yeah,
sure was. Michael O'Sullivan, remember the name. And even the trainer-owner, Barry Connell.
Barry Connell, former stockbroker.
Bit of a character. And even in the post-race interview after Marine Nationale won, he said, we had the best horse in the race, I've been saying it for months, and we had the best jockey in the race. Have a bit of that.
Yeah, that's a man who's confident. He's done well in his life and his career, stockbroking, and then he was owning, and then he was... He training his horses, and I'm just going to go and train this horse myself.
Yeah, wow.
Get this jockey, get this young kid on it. It's something out of one of these movies, Hollywood movies. The Young Apprentice and the old the Master, and there you go.
John, I'm sure.
And they're also kind of outsiders as well to a degree,
Yeah. No, I mean absolutely. I mean Gordon Elliott did get off the mark, and Mullins got off the mark, and that will be the fabric of the week, I suppose, as opposed to Barry Connell. And on that point, I'm sure you're chatting to people there, and even English journalists in the press room are just picking up on the atmosphere. The Pressbury Cup is almost like irrelevant, a relic, foregone conclusion. And like the first race, the commentator on ITV is saying, oh, it's a 1-2-3 for Ireland. And then he's saying, actually, hang on, I'm looking at the replay, 4, 5, 6, okay, the first 8 horses home are Irish here. And you're thinking, well, this is beyond.
Don't do this anymore, folks. Don't do this Pressbury Cup. Don't do this.
Yeah, but there must be a sense amongst English journalists or the English fans, or maybe racing doesn't work that way. Maybe it's, they're Willie Mullins supporters, even they might be English born. Maybe that's how it works. But there must be a sense over there of what is happening to English racing.
And it's been the case for a good few years now. Like 2015 was the last time they had more winners than Ireland, and that's it's getting there. And it's not going to change anytime soon. I think it's a challenge to them. It's a challenge to what type of industry do they want to have. Do they want to have better prize money, because we have significantly good prize money here in Ireland. And like in the 80s, when we didn't have any winner there in 1989, all of our best horses were being sold to England. It's all a reflection of the economics of the countries to a degree as well. And now what's happening is all the English and French owners are sending their horses to Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott. So Caldwell Construction, who won the race Jazzy Matty, they're like English from what I know. Al Fabiolo, the second winner of the Arkle Chase. They're not Irish people, they're English. Simon Munir, Isaac Swad, so I think it's English and French. So that's what's happening now, because they see that the best jockeys, the best trainers, the best prize money is all based in Ireland, and they're saying, why don't we have a bit of that? I think the people who go here to Cheltenham, you have a lot of people coming down from London. It's very well marketed. You have over 60,000 people here a day. They're breaking all records in terms of attendance the last few years. So I don't think the people coming down here for the day, some of them not like purists, some of them more casual punters, are here to have the crack and enjoy the biggest racing spectacle. They're not thinking as much about Irish English. But if you're an English racing executive, as it were, you need to be looking at this seriously. Because it's Punchestown away, as I keep on saying, Punchestown away.
Yes, okay. Clock coming against us. You'll be on AM tomorrow, so you can talk in more depth. But give us a quick word on what you're looking at for in particular tomorrow.
I think to follow on your point, Joe, 3 quick stories. 6 out of the 7 favourites tomorrow are Irish trained. That's number 1. Number 2, the champion chase is the feature. You have Emergence, who won the race last year. A bit of a Facile Vega situation in that he ran flat the last time, but he won the race last year. And if he returns his best, he'll be hard to beat. Edward Stone is the young pretender, won the Arkle Chase last year. And the third story really is that the bumper, which is always an Irish race, is got a favourite called A Dream to Share, who's going to be ridden by John Gleeson, the son of the broadcaster Brian Gleeson, down in Waterford, and he's doing his leaving this year. Okay. So it'd be a pretty great story if he won tomorrow. Okay, well listen, your new Peaky Blinders hat will be unveiled tomorrow morning. So, I mean, what a day. What a day, Joe. You reached for it there. It's right there. I know it is. It's like Inspector Gadget with the arm. You never see the man. We got to go. Thanks so much. All right, Joe. Cheers. John Duggan live at Cheltenham on AM tomorrow, and then we'll check in with John again tomorrow evening.